Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Taje, the Hood Therapist, coming to y'all live from LA. And you tuned into Grown Man Sessions. Keep it locked. We about to get deep, y'all.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back. It's your boy Timothy Rhyme. Welcome back to Grown Man Sessions. This episode right here is really special for me because when I first started doing Grown Man Sessions, you know, I had this idea. I had kind of like this intention, and I had been searching like everywhere for something that had a similar message and had something like a similar vibe. And I finally found it. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, this platform that I'm about to introduce you to, for all my people, like all my direct loved ones and all the people that I rock with, like in real life, I need you guys to go check this out because I'm telling you, it's going to resonate with you on a whole different level, man. My guest today is Taje, the Hood Therapist. He has a show on a Dame Dash streaming platform called Healing is Gangsta. So you guys get the message from the jump, man. So let's get into it, man. What's up, Taje? Thank you for coming on, man. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? Salute. I'm good, bro. Just blessed, breathing, able to put in the work that I need to do on this mission, bro. So yeah, blessed.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear it, man. It's a crazy world we're living in right now with all these things going on, man. I'm glad that you're doing good, and hopefully your family's doing well as well.
Sure.
Talk to me, man, about your background. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to get into like the Healing is Gangster, but I kind of want to take everybody on a trip like of your journey, man, because I feel like I got to read your bio, man, and I was inspired just by that, bro. So like hearing it from you, man, like if you could give us some information, like where you grew up, like, and kind of like how you got to where you are now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. I'm from LA, born and raised, specifically Compton. You know what I'm saying? When my family came out here from Puerto Rico and the East Coast, that's where they ended up at. They ended up in Compton. Later on, they moved around a little bit. I went to high school in Hawthorne, so I did. I spent some time in Hawthorne, which is in LA as well. It's like the next city over, city or two over from Compton. But yeah, I'm an LA baby, bro, and I'm Puerto Rican and Black and Native American, so got the whole trifecta thing going on. But but my family is mainly from Puerto Rico. They came to the East Coast first. We lived in the ghetto. Back in Puerto Rico, we was in like the third world side of things. So they came up here and it was an improvement. Ended up coming to the West Coast. Me and my cousins, my generation, are the first ones that was like raised on the West. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom came out here when she was young, but like I've been out here, since I was born. You feel me? As far as residing, so we were like the first ones that was born and raised here. First ones that got with like in the gang culture and all that stuff too. My pops ended up staying on the East Coast, so I did live in Jersey for like a year or two in Patterson, New Jersey. Shout out to Patterson.
Okay.
Feel me? Some real ones over there. So I got a taste of that East Coast life too. So I've been in ghettos, man, all over the world, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I know about ghetto life, and I've seen all kind of levels of poverty. You feel me? So basically, coming up in LA, I went through the average LA shit. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, me being mixed added a uniqueness to it. Because people that's mixed, we go through a little different experience out here. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you Spanish and Black. For those that don't know about LA gets real political and it gets real racial sometimes, with the gang banging. And if you like go to jail and shit like that, so when you're mixed, it's like people don't really know how to accept you. You feel me? So especially when you're young and before you get a chance to like kind of pick what you're doing and, put in work and get your respect or whatever. When you're young, it's harder. You know what I'm saying? I was always fighting. I wasn't really accepted like amongst anybody, whether they was Black, white, Mexican. Like everybody kind of looked at you like, yeah, you are, but you kind of not. You know what I'm saying? So, so I went through the whole colorism thing for sure. You know what I mean? That had a big impact on my life. And I started on the streets early, bro. I caught my first case at 12. I had caught a drug case and an attempted murder charge because of the amount of drugs or narcotics that I had on me at the time. Yeah, it was enough to kill somebody, so they charged me with the attempted murder, and then the intent to distribute and possession and all that shit. So ended up catching the case for that. Missed a lot of my. I think I was in 8th grade at that time. I was in like junior high school. I missed a lot of that year. You know what I'm saying? You know, getting locked up, and then being on house arrest and all that. I still graduated though, so that was cool. You feel me? But by the time I was like 15, going on to 16, I was already out the house. You know, my mom had enough. You feel me? And in the midst of all that, even before my mom kicked me out, I was heavily involved in the streets. And people did, like, because you know, back then I had braids, but I was still light. So everybody always remembered who I was because I was always in the streets, man. I started young with this shit. So just to rewind a little bit, as far as how I got my start in the industry, you feel me? That came when I was very young. I was around the same age, about 13, 14. I was rolling with some high power dudes at the time. And, you know, my homeboy had owned a studio on Rosecrans back in the day. And like Eazy-E used to go up there, like Bone Thugs recorded their album up there. It was called The Black Hole. You know what I'm saying? And DJ Quick used to be up there, Drew Down. A lot of people used to go up there. I met CNH, who I guess he was the manager of the Loonies at that time.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's when I smoked my first like chronic joint with CNH when I was young. I don't think he knew how young I was though, so I don't want to put him out there like that. But yeah, so that was kind of like my introduction to the industry because like I knocked on his door, my homeboy Kenny that owned the studio, because everybody was talking about how it was a studio there. And so I just was like, yo, man, you know, I got $100. I want to record something. He just kind of laughed at me, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, that ain't enough to do nothing. And I was just kind of like, oh, okay. But then I guess like one of the homies that told him like, hey, man, you know, that's one of the little homies or whatever, you know, you want to be cool with them, you know what I'm saying? You know, they a rowdy bunch, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think Kenny was ever shook by that because Kenny was a hood nigga too. But like, I think hearing that, he was like, oh, let me help this dude. You know what I mean? He reaching out to me, young. So he let me in the studio and I recorded some, you know, it was trash. You know what I'm saying? You know, I was a little kid at the time, but because I became cool with Kenny, he would let me kick it in the studio too. So I would go there like every, you know, whatever, like, you know, I started trying to really spend time with there, just being in the lobby and just kicking it. You know what I'm saying? And through that, I got to meet Eazy-E. You know, I got to meet all these people, you know, who ended up, you know, being legends in the game or whatever. You feel me? And that's kind of how I got my start in the industry, and people kind of started knowing me like that because, you know, a lot of these celebrities, they would trip about how young I was. And, you know, whatever they needed, I would get it for them. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was, you know, they wanted some smoke or, you know, wanted some protection. You know what I mean? Or whatever it was, you know what I mean? Like I had it or I knew somebody that had it. You know, I was very resourceful at that time. So
you was a young plug.
Yeah, I was a young plug straight up. So I started making my rounds as far as my name getting around like that. So then I started meeting more rappers. You know what I mean? Like niggas from like Thug Life, like Tupac, who I took a liking to, you know, him and Mo Preem. You know, Mo Preem ended up being the godfather of my oldest son. Yeah, so that family line goes deep with like the Shakurs and Pac. And during this whole time, you know, I was still thugging in the street, you know what I mean? So my mom ended up kicking me out. And I just went even more into the street, you know what I mean? At this point, I didn't have nowhere to go, you know? So, you know, when I was young, you know, it's not like I could even get a job, even if I wanted to at that time. So I just got more into the streets, you know, and went through all the bullshit, you know, losing homies, you know, getting shot, getting into violence with people, just, you know, living that life, you know, but I always stayed kind of in the industry, you know, kind of being around all those people during all that. So, you know, I did my thing with the little music shit, you know, we were like at the time, the West, nothing was really going on out here on the West Coast, you know what I mean? And a lot of us were coming up with our mixtapes at the time. I had a studio. I was one of the only dudes out here with their own studio. And everybody used to come to my shit, you know what I'm saying? Whether it was like Nipsey or all the T to E homies, J-Rock, Kendrick, everybody. You know, I know all of them. Problem. I mean, the list just go on and on, even to the OGs like Snoop, Q, like everybody was coming to me. You know what I mean? I had production too. Like I had my own company, and I would have producers in the company. So a lot of these dudes were coming to me for all kind of shit. Like they was coming at me for music, coming at me for street shit, you know, coming at me for whatever. You know what I mean? Again, I had it. If you needed it, I had it. Yeah. So I was able to build a lot of relationships like that. You know, I ended up having a, you know, fairly successful mixtape. It got in the magazines, you know, and got around, you know, a lot of the homies got signed. You know, I was rolling with Aftermath at that time when I was doing the mixtape. So I got to be in the studio with like Dr. Dre and a lot, and Busta Rhymes, and like a lot of people, especially during that whole time when they were working on Detox. You know, we did records for like Detox, and I got to be around a lot of legends, bro. Like,
bro, I was about to say, you got that like that golden era DNA in you.
Yeah. I was one of the young niggas that, you know, I could tell you what it was like in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I was out, you know what I mean? Like a lot of these dudes were young, going to school or like, you know, or in the house, you know what I mean? I was out with the runaway slaves, you feel me? At a young age. So it's like I was in the mix with these dudes. But by this time, no, this was like in the 2000s though. Like when I was like in the studio with like Dre and a lot of these people, you know, I remember when Drake would be in there writing, you know, I've been in the studio with him, you know, so throughout my whole life, you know, I've been around these people, you know what I mean? Whether it was through the street or whether it was through music or whatever it was, you know, and they had a healthy respect for me and what I do, you know what I mean? And it's crazy because I can pull from all them trees, you know, I've been around all those, like you said, those trees, you know, the NWA tree, the Tupac tree, you know, even now to the Rockefeller tree, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been around all these dudes, you know what I mean? And been blessed to kind of learn from them and see how they, you know, do different things in different businesses that they do. So basically, long story short, while I was doing the music, I was still in the streets. You know, I was living that life, you know, I was really living what I was rapping about, you know what I'm saying? And I ended up catching a case, called a weapons charge. That weapon ended up having a body on it. You know what I'm saying? So that turned into a murder investigation. That turned into, you know, them trying to charge me with murder. And I really didn't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not just saying that like I really didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, because a lot of I got away with a lot of shit in life, but I was about to go down for some shit I didn't even do. You know what I'm saying? And I sure wasn't going to snitch. So, you know, but I knew that they had to put me there basically because I knew I really didn't do it. So I was like, they're going to have to put me on the scene. And it was just like the way they was trying to match it up, like, because apparently like the murder had transpired like in a studio, in a recording studio and all of this. So they was trying to like, oh, well, he raps and he's in the street and he's doing it, doing that. So they was trying to match it all together. But at the end of the day, they knew they didn't have shit because they got to put me there. You know what I'm saying? And so I spent some time in the county fighting that, you know, ended up bailing out, beating that. And then my level of thinking changed while I was locked up. You know, I had just had my kids not too long before that. I just had my 2 boys before that. And so I was already kind of thinking different, a little different, because now it's like before that, I was real reckless. Like I didn't care about living or dying at that time. Like I didn't care. Like I was like, well, fuck it, you know. They go down, they go down. You know, that's just how I was living, you know, almost suicidal, you know, like really didn't give a fuck, you know what I'm saying? And when I had my kids, when I had my kids, that kind of gave me a reason to live, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, well, because I always told myself my pops kind of dipped out on me when I was like 3 years old, you know what I'm saying? So I always told myself that I wouldn't do that, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's what made me start thinking different. When I was in jail, you know, I came to, you know, I had a moment of clarity and I ended up thanking God for being there. I was like, obviously you want me to be here, so I'm supposed to learn what I'm supposed to learn. So thank you for the opportunity for me to sit my ass in this cell. And I could safely say, like, once I did that, like, everything started going different, you know what I'm saying? And I got out. I was like, I want to do something else. You know, I ended up like, yo, I'm gonna try going to school. Found out I was very good at school. I got the Presidential Scholar Award. I had the highest GPA in the school, in the whole school, in my major.
Damn.
You know, that's not just with niggas, that's with the whole campus. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody.
So, yeah, and I wasn't good in high school because I just never went. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't interested. So it was crazy to see that I was really good at academics. You know what I'm saying? So
that untapped part of you.
Yeah, you know, so I just took it all the way, you know what I'm saying, into my doctorate program, you know, spent almost a decade in school, still kind of ending it out now, you know what I'm saying? And I was able to turn my life around and, you know, kind of get on something positive, you know, with the music. A lot of people always ask me, especially people that were listening to my music at the time, you know, because I always hear people, you know, they'll tell me like, man, your music got me through shit, or why you don't do it no more. And I'm just kind of like, well, when I was in the music industry, I felt like I didn't want to rap about shit I wasn't doing. I felt like if people are gonna take risks listening to my music, I'm gonna take the same risk with them. That's how I felt. Because other than that, I'm just leading you to your death and just being like, all right, peace. Like I didn't feel like I didn't want to do that. You know, and it sounds stupid, but that's just how I was thinking at the time. You know, I didn't feel right about that. So I always made it a point to be like, yo, if I'm rapping about it, then it's something I did, witnessed, or I, you know, was in that shit. You feel me? So I felt like rap in a lot of ways was holding me back mentally. You know what I'm saying? Like from evolving. You know, and it's crazy because I always say that hip hop saved my life too. Like rap was like my first therapist. You know what I'm saying? Like it was my first therapist and my first way of processing shit. You know, I learned about history through you know, I learned the history listening to Death Certificate. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up, you know? Everything, you know, rap saved my life, but it came to a point where a change had to be made because I found myself kind of being in the same situations that I was in the streets with this music shit. You know, I was getting in the beats with people, showing up to the club, whooping their ass, getting on YouTube, you know, like risking my life for shit that was going on in this music game. And I was just kind of like, man. So that's why I decided to make that change. And I've always been a fan of the brain and how the brain works. So I picked psychology. If I would have started like younger, I probably would have been like a brain surgeon or something. But yeah, so I picked psychology, finished all that shit, got all my degrees, and I was like, well, shit. You know, I had a plan. I kind of wanted to be like the Dr. Drew of the street, basically. I was like, you know, how can I merge these two worlds together? You know what I'm saying? I have all these networks over here and all these people. Like, well, how can I merge this shit? And I just did it. I didn't figure it out all the way. I just went. I was like, well, I'm just gonna do it. You know, things started falling in my lap. My homegirl Brianna, who was on Growing Up Hip Hop right now, the show on We. Me and her grew up in the streets. And she knew that I was going to school for all this shit. And I guess Dame was on the show with her. You know what I'm saying? Dame Dash was executive producing the shows at that time. And they were going through some family shit. And she was like, well, I got a psychologist, homie, that's really from the streets. You know, I could bring him to talk to y'all. So they ended up bringing me on the show. So I ended up being on the show. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is it. Boom. You know what I'm saying? And then I just took it from there. Me and Dame got really tight. You know, my homeboy John Monopoly, who was responsible. He's responsible for bringing Kanye West. Him and Dame. You know what I'm saying? John Monopoly was Kanye West's manager. You know what I'm saying? Through all that time, you'll see him like in the documentary that's out right now. He's all over there, over that. But he had told Dame, he was like, "Yo, he a real street nigga, bro. Like he, you don't know, like who you talking to? That's a real street." Because I didn't tell Dame none of that. Like I didn't tell Dame nothing about like my history or like none of that shit because I didn't want to scare him off. You know what I'm saying? So for all he knew, I was just some square dude with tattoos that, you know, went to school. He didn't know that, all of that. You know what I mean?
All the background.
And so yeah, so when he found all that out, he was like, "Oh man, like you really from the shit." I was like, "Yeah," and then we just became tight, and then we came up with this idea for healing this gangster. You know what I'm saying? Let's start doing it. Let's start the mission. Because at first, I was like, man, I didn't really want to start doing it until I had finished up my doctorate. But then he was like, man, nah, fuck that. Like the mission got to start. Let's go. You already know everything you need to know, so let's go. And I was like, all right, bet. So we did it, and that's what you're seeing now. You know what I'm saying? On the Dame Dash Network, you'll see Healing is Gangsta on there. We on demand on Fox Soul too. So you can go on demand and check it out on Fox Soul. And yeah, we just going, bro. And it's been a great experience. You know what I'm saying? Doing Healing is Gangsta. It's the first of its kind. You know, and that's although, you know, it's other shows like your show, it's a couple other shows that, you know, touched on that. But I mean, as far as it's packaged with like the clinical aspect and all of that, I felt like it was the first time anybody had seen anything like that. So I felt blessed to kind of be able to help usher that in for the homies. You know what I'm saying? And
for sure.
Yeah, that's basically it though. So I know, sorry, that was long. I try to fit it into it. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I like hearing it, man, because man, like I get inspired by hearing other people's struggles, and I really resonate with your story, bro. Because like I was telling you before we started recording, is like, you know, I come from South Sacramento, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I was around, you know, a bunch of, you know, different levels of poverty, like you said. It's different in Northern California versus Southern California, you know what I'm saying? Like the way that operates, but it's still, you know, like a lot of similarities, a lot of similar struggles. Single mother household, you know, a lot of problems within the family, the nuclear family. You know, ended up doing my stuff in the streets. Never got involved in the gangbanging lifestyle, but still, you know, was active doing other things. And then ended up catching a case. Almost got locked up, like similar to yourself, man. Like I was just around something that happened, and then they tried to pin it on me too. Was able to get out of that situation. And then similar to you too, bro, like I'm telling you, like I relate to a lot of the things that you say, because like when I was fighting that case, like I was like, man, like I can't be doing this, man. So I ended up getting back in school, didn't know what to do with my life. You know what I'm saying? At that time, you know, still one foot in like doing nonsense, still one foot trying to like do something right. Ended up getting a degree in accounting because I realized that I was good at school too. And then, you know, fast forward like 2000 and I think 15, 16, I ended up becoming a CPA, bro. So like, you know, like, thank you, bro. Like, yeah. So like, I completely like understand, respect, and admire your journey, bro. Cause it ain't easy, man. And like, I think you kind of touched on it, man. Like when you talked about, you know, when you started to get into school, like you were, you know, academically at the upper level, and not just amongst people that like had a similar background, but amongst everybody. Was it like that for you too? Like for me, like when I was in school, like I felt so awkward because there was nobody like me in that school, like in that program, in the accounting program. I felt like an oddball out, you know what I mean? Like nobody that related to me on like any level really, but I was still, you know, just doing my thing, studying and going to class and all that kind of stuff. Did you go through a similar experience?
Yeah, no, I definitely did. I mean, you know, yeah, nah, for sure. I mean, it was a couple people like that was like from the hood that I knew, but most of them was like athletes. You know, they were like the football players or like the sports dudes that got scholarships to school. Yeah, no, I definitely felt like that because I didn't dress. I mean, when I first started going to school, bro, I was showing up in like khakis and house shoes and shit on. Like, I was still in the streets when I started school. Like, I'm gonna keep it real. Like, I didn't really stop being in the streets fully until I got closer to like my master's degree. You know what I'm saying? And as far as hanging around, you know, and still kind of being in the culture.
Right.
So I was showing up to school, you know, they're like, man, you know, you in the right place, you know, sometimes the professors, you know, but I would always enjoy pleasantly surprising the professors. Like, damn, this is probably like the smartest dude in the class. Like they would read my papers, or, you know, I would engage with them in class. And it was always cool, pleasantly surprising them, you know what I mean? And showing them that, yo, we're not like just animals out here, you know what I'm saying? Like,
hell yeah.
You know, we invented all this shit. You feel me? Like, the shit was stolen from us. It came out of our brains. You know what I mean? Just because we're people of color and we come from the hood doesn't mean we're not capable of great things, and that we can't think and articulate and all those different things. So I definitely felt that though. It was ostracizing sometimes.
Yeah.
In that regard, definitely. You know what I mean? Because some people would look down on you or
Yeah. Judge you.
Yeah, exactly. You feel me? So sometimes it was, there is, racism is still alive. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I went through a lot of that. It was a lot of people that didn't want to see me doing that shit.
Yeah.
Like, who does he think he is, type of thing.
I have a friend that I interviewed on here as well. He's a DJ up in Northern California. He DJs for the Sacramento Kings, and he was talking about, because now he's a high school teacher, but he still DJs. But he was talking about how he went to school and how he, Mexican dude, from the street, and how he feels like it's so important, that people like myself, like yourself, and like him, like we go through that process of being uncomfortable, getting our education, but still staying authentic. You know what I'm saying? Still like staying true to, the way that we talk, walk, dress, look, act, like not like giving that up for the sake of joining like that level of society, if you want to call it that. Because like his message, and I think I'm kind of getting this from you too, it's important for the youngsters that are coming up to be able to see us, like be successful in that world and still be able to be ourselves.
Absolutely. I mean, we have to have the ability to adjust. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I just feel like, don't box me in is what I'm saying, like, and that was something Dame helped me a lot with too. Like when I first was getting in this, like I was kind of struggling. I had like an identity crisis because I was struggling with kind of like how I want to present myself. You know what I'm saying? And Dame was just like, yo, man, just be you. He was like, man, come with the hat on, come how you dress, bro. Like, do what you do.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, man, should I like look like a therapist? Or like, what? Because at the same time, I'm trying to be respected professionally for what I do.
Right.
And because I know what I do is edgy, you know what I'm saying, already. But Dame just helped me see that I was just pushing the bar, you know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure.
And because most of the people that I help are me. They're me. Yeah. You know what I mean? I am my clients, most of them. You know what I'm saying? So they got to see that. You know what I mean? They have to see it. So that's why I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna do me. It's all about the message. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, don't matter if I got on tattoos or whatever. But that's us. That's the culture. It's more than just rapping and whatever. Like you said, it's how we walk, how we talk, how we dress, how we carry ourselves, everything.
Yeah, man. I think what you're doing is so important, man, and that's why I gravitated towards it, and that's why I wanted to talk to you, man, because coming from like an experience that I can relate to a certain level, I understand that like so many people along the way, including myself, including a lot of my friends and my family, do struggle with either identifying or understanding or dealing with like mental health issues. And it's such a bad word around certain communities. It's like you get looked at in a different way. Like if you try to like go there with certain people. I think it's been changing a lot more now. Like the more guys that I'm talking to about this stuff, like it's not as weird. You know what I mean? It's not like uncomfortable as much. But growing up, man, like this is like what are you, a girl? Like why are you acting like that? Oh, you can't deal with it, or you know what I mean? And so like now, like it's so nice like to see somebody that has gone through that struggle, gone through that whole transformation, man, and like and coming back and being like, nah, man, like look, like you can heal, bro. Like you can heal. Because at the end of the day, man, I feel like a healed young me wouldn't have gone through like all that stuff.
Well, yeah, and then it's a lot of things. Again, this thing goes before us and it's gonna go after us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we got to start healing some of this generational trauma that we've been dealing with, just historically from slavery, all the way to now. We have to be conscious of it and start addressing it on a mental and emotional and physical level. That way we can better deal with our present stress and our present trauma, because that's the problem. It's just trauma on top of trauma. We got historical generational trauma and trying to survive today. And that's all trauma just kind of just on top of each other. We're not dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like before there's any kind of civil movement or there's any kind of movement of us truly as on a macro level, you know, to where we could start to equate to, you know, these white folks and, you know, some of these other things, these other people who have gotten ahead of us on the social ladder for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? The way we can try to even that out is that we got to get our minds right. Like if we don't get our minds right, it don't matter what we do. Like they're always going to sabotage us the same way. You know what I'm saying? If we're not all together and unified, they're always going to use us to break us down. That's how they did the Panthers. That's how they did, you know, anybody that, you know, tried to do something. You know what I'm saying? They used us against us.
Right.
Because they use our trauma to kill us, basically. They'll get somebody that's been traumatized that ain't got shit, pay them, do whatever they, you know, get them out of jail, whatever it is. And, you know, this person's used to just barely getting by, barely surviving. So when they get paid to do this, of course, they're going to turn in their brother or kill their brother, or, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, shoot somebody, you feel me? You know, that look like them. You know what I mean? They don't value themselves. So they're definitely not going to value somebody that looks just like them. You know what I'm saying? So it's a bigger fight. You get what I'm saying? And I just feel like the mental health department is the first place we need to start before we start, you know, while we're doing all this, while we're going and asking for, you know, like legislation and all of that. And we're doing, you know, strikes and, you know, or, you know, all of that, all those different movements that are going on. That's cool. But we're really not going to move as a people until we fix ourselves mentally, because
it all starts here.
Yeah, there's some people that aren't even aware of this shit that's going on. You know what I'm saying? And that's another. And then, you know, as far as what you were talking about is like media, you know, or having a platform, you know, there's a lot of fights that go on with that. Meaning, like, that's a whole battle in itself, because most of the media that you see is all the stuff that has us sick. It's crazy. The things that have us sick, the trauma and everything, that's what we concentrate on too, though. That's what we like watching. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like me, if I've been shot, it's like, all right, that was a traumatic thing, right? But then all I want to watch is other niggas beefing and shooting each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what gets all the hits. You know what I'm saying? That's what's getting all the clickbait is, you know, degradation and all that. Yeah. You know, and so it's like you're fighting that battle too. It's like the hardest thing to do is to push something positive. As much as people say we need that, that's not what they concentrate on, though. You know what I'm saying? They'd rather watch the violence. They'd rather watch, you know, the bullshit, which is fine. I entertain myself with it sometimes. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shoot, I'm watching Menace to Society right now. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I entertain myself with it, whether it's in the music or whether it's like, you know, the stuff that they play like on World Star or, you know, all of that. It's funny sometimes, you know, you'll sit there, watch it, you'll laugh. You know, obviously the violent stuff when people get shot, I ain't talking about that. But like, you know, you pay attention to some of it sometimes, you know, but everything's about balance, you know, if we want to heal ourselves, we also have to pay attention to the things that are healing as well. Right. You know what I mean? You know, because when you find yourself like going to therapy and trying to better yourself, but then all you're paying attention to is the shit that has you depressed and fucked up, it's going to make your journey even much harder. You know what I'm saying? So that's another war or conflict that we fight. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing like Dane be talking about too. Like, you know, you build your own platforms. Like they'll tell us, okay, build your own platforms, but then it's like we don't support our own platforms.
Man, bam,
you know what I'm saying? Most of the people that's making money off this type shit is not from our community.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And we got to change that.
There's no space for us in that community because they don't. It's not like advantageous, I guess. You know what I mean?
And that's the key word is, you know, everybody thinks in the industry state of mind, even people that's not in the industry. You know what I'm saying? They think in this industry state of mind where everybody's become an opportunist So there's no morals in this shit. There's no rules. Everybody just do whatever. And that includes the things that they entertain and the things, the platforms that they entertain. You know what I'm saying? Because trust me, once you get to 1 million views a video, they'll just come on your show just to get the attention. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it be about. So there's a lot of different fronts to this world we find. We got mental health. We also got trying to make positive things cool, and get people to pay attention to these things. And it's the progression of Black and brown folks. Because my plan is for the next 100 years. I'm not going to be here to see like the end of this shit.
Yeah.
And that's fine with me. You know what I'm saying? But we got to start somewhere.
It reminds me of that saying, man, you're planting trees that you'll never be able to sit under and enjoy the shade.
Exactly. You feel me? Yep. But that's what we got to do,
Yeah.
Because we got to be realistic. I think a lot of people get discouraged because they don't see change right away. Like, we got to fix each other, we got to fix ourselves. And that's going to take some time.
I wanted to ask you a question, man. You posted something on your Instagram, man. Y'all go check out his Instagram. Taje310, TAJE310 is his personal Instagram. It's got a lot of gems on there for you guys, man. So I highly recommend it. You posted something that says, the way you want others to love you is how you should love yourself, because loving yourself will teach others how to love you better. And I was like, bro, like I'm like, I'm 40 years old and I'm barely learning like what that means, like to love myself, bro. And it really resonated with me, man. So I'm curious, man, if you could give us like a little bit of like, guidance on like how can we better love ourselves?
Well, a lot of times in psychology, we focus on internal processes, things that are going on inside of us, things that are going on unconsciously. But a big part, of psychology and natural awareness is also looking at things from another different point of view. You know what I'm saying? So as much as we want to know internally, we also want to know about like environment and what things look like from the outside. You know what I'm saying? And, the same way you would look at another person or another child, or a child who has your same attributes, you would want to respect that person. You would want to love that person. A lot of people don't look outside of themselves and look at themselves as a walking person.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a person.
Right.
We tend to just look from the inside out. We're not looking at ourselves and the pain that we're going through and the things that we're going through, the things that we've accomplished, the obstacles that we've toppled, all these different things. We don't tend to give ourselves props for that or look at ourselves as a person. Like, if you're looking in the mirror and you see yourself. So what I try to do with myself is I try to stay in that point of view as well as the internal. Like, I look at myself and be like, man, that dude deserves love, man. He's doing a lot out here. You know what I mean? Like, he helping people. He done been through a lot of shit, a lot of betrayal, a lot of different bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And that person deserves to be loved like anybody else. And if nobody else is going to give it to him, then I can give him that love. And that's me. You know what I'm saying? So it's because sometimes all you got is yourself. You get what I'm saying? And, while you sitting there waiting and begging for somebody else to love you and doing reckless shit to try to impress somebody, to show them that that they should love you a certain way.
Right.
Do that for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because, okay, like how we was talking about this industry, right? You can see a lot about human nature in this industry. You know what I'm saying? And this industry is full of dick riders. You know what I'm saying? They dick ride what other people like. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, so if you use that same concept with yourself and be your own biggest fan, yeah, you're going to piss some people off because they don't want to see you shine. You know what I'm saying? But you also showing them like, yo, this nigga deserve respect. This nigga think he the shit. And you carry yourself like that, and then you deliver your shit too. Like, yo, he really is the shit. He know how to do whatever he doing. Like, that's why he talking that shit. You're teaching them that this is the type of respect that I deserve. And this, I'm not standing for no less. You know what I'm saying? You teaching them that by respecting yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. By loving yourself, you know what you need from other people. You know what I'm saying? You know how to set your boundaries. If you loving yourself correctly, you know what you won't tolerate from other people because you know what you deserve because you've given it to yourself. So you like, yo, I'm not standing for nothing less than what I'm doing for myself. So that teaches you how to show other people how to respect you, how to love you, how to be sensitive to the things that you want to be sensitive to. You know what I'm saying? So when you get other people that think like that, you're going to have a beautiful friendship or you're going to have a beautiful relationship or whatever it is, whatever the nature of the connection is. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what I mean. That's basically what that means. You know, that quote, you know what I'm saying? Is loving yourself does a lot. It creates boundaries for other people. It also shows them how they need to be with you or they can kick rocks.
I think that's the best translation for me is the boundaries part. You know what I mean? Like being able to set them and be okay with them. You know, and me realizing, and I, you know, not like, you know, just me realizing that boundaries are okay. You know what I mean? And
absolutely, they're needed.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
sure.
they're necessities, bro. If you ain't got no boundaries, bro, you're gonna have a miserable outing out here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
that's true.
You gotta have boundaries, and you gotta know how to set them, and you also gotta know how to reinforce them, and you gotta know how to stand on your shit. You know what I'm saying? And stand on your boundaries. You know, otherwise, if you don't know your boundaries, nobody else gonna know them either, and they just gonna be stepping all over your space. Yeah.
Right on, man. So this show, you know, it's called Grown Man Sessions, and I ask all my guests this because I always get different answers, and I'm just curious, man. What would you define as a grown man?
A grown man, okay. A grown man to me is somebody that takes care of their responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? And knows how to compromise between themselves and the people that they care about. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, basically, to me, that has nothing to do with money. You know, a lot of people be like, yeah, a grown man is somebody that got paper. Nah, because I know a lot of fools that ain't grown that got paper. You know what I'm saying? To me, being a grown man is, like I said, understanding that you got to stay learning and stay evolving. You know, that you can never know everything.
I like that.
You know, and to me, that's a grown man. You know what I'm saying? You know, because I'm still young, you know, I'm still, you know, I'm a grown ass man. You feel me? You know, in that sense, but I'm still learning this life shit. You know what I mean? So, I mean, as of everything I've learned right now, to me, that's a man taking care of your responsibilities, not being afraid to be happy, and leaving something behind that the next generation can learn from.
I think you're definitely doing that, bro. You're leading by example, and I think we're all the better for it. To be honest with you.
Likewise, you doing the same work, bro. You feel me? So.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I had an older guy that I worked with when I was 18. I worked at the state printers up in Sacramento, and this older guy, like I was this young knucklehead coming to work high, drunk, you know, like just being dumb. And I remember one time he told me, he's like, "Why are you so mad, man?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, I'm gonna give you a lesson right now." And he said, I think he was at the time, he was like 50 something. He's like, "But Tim," he's like, "I never stopped learning." And I don't know why that always stuck with me. So like when you just said that, I was like, wow, man, like I think that's a really important aspect of us just like, you know, being men is like always like understanding ourselves and being able to evolve, man. And I can guarantee you, man, like anybody that listens to this episode that I know personally is going to get something from this. So I really do appreciate your time, Taje, man. Like it's been an honor talking to you, bro. And I really appreciate you imparting your experience on us, man, because I feel like that's the best teacher. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. You know what I'm saying? We need more platforms like this, spreading, you know, a different kind of message and a message that you can truly consume. And, you know, it's like food, you know what I'm saying? This food got nutrients, you know what I'm saying? everybody high off the sugar, you know what I'm saying? And they eating that candy, you know what I'm saying? And you know, that shit ain't not doing for nothing for them. It's not doing nothing for their mind, not doing nothing for their body. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you got to mix in the vegetables, you know, and the fruits and the, you know, and I feel like that's what the, you know, platforms like yours, mines, and Dames, and, you know, a lot of other people that's doing this shit, that's what we are, you know what I'm saying? We the other side of that diet.
I think it's gonna happen, bro. I think with the advancement in technology, and I think just more people are starting to like tune into this. Even like the younger generation, man. I feel like they're a lot more open to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it's not as closed off to them as it might have been for us.
Yeah,
you know
they're definitely, they're a little more like open to, you know, to talking about certain things that were like back in our day, probably get your ass beat.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, but I think it's a good thing, man. I think you know, just reinforcing it and you know, just keeping keep planting these seeds and watering these plants, man. I think it's definitely something that's worth it, even if it doesn't pay off, like you said, in our lifetime, man. I think it's something that'll transpire over time and will definitely you know, be of benefit to those that come after us. So I'm very grateful, brother. I'll definitely be tuning into your show to get, you know, all the inspiration and motivation from you guys. And yeah, man, just thank you. I always end these conversations by saying that one person can change the world, but it's one person at a time. And right now, that one person is you. If you guys got anything from this episode, please hit the like, please hit the subscribe, and drop us a comment, man. Let us know what you think about, you know, what Taje said, man. If there's anything that sparked a thought in you, drop a comment, man. Let's keep the conversation going because it doesn't have to stop here. All right. Taje, before I go, man, like how can they reach out to you if they want to?
Well, they can hit me up on Instagram, Taje310, TAJE310.
Mm-hmm.
You can also go to the Healing is Gangsta page. That's at Healing is Gangsta Official. So you could hit that up. We just dropped our season finale of the show with Lil Sodi from LA. Our next season we're gonna start filming soon. You know what I mean? So look out for that. You know what I mean? That's season 3 coming soon. We got the merch coming soon. The Healing is Gangsta gear. You feel me? Sweaters, hats, shirts, all that, pants. Yeah, you know, and just kind of, you know, same thing, you know, check it out on YouTube. It's Healing is Gangsta on YouTube. You know, drop a comment, subscribe, you know, leave with other suggestions. You know, we're always trying to make the show better. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, shouts out to everybody watching. Hopefully y'all got something from this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna drop all the links in the description, you guys. So you guys don't have to go search for it. Just look below. Go click away, man. Go tap in and support, man. We need everybody's support, and you know, like we're trying to do something like Taje said, man, that's gonna affect generations to come. So the more people that will join and fight with us and lock arms with us, man, I feel like the more good we can do. So yeah, thank you, Taje, man. I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you guys for tuning in, and stay tuned for Grown Man Sessions next time. In the meantime, fella, take care of yourselves. All right. Peace out.
Want it.